6th of February, Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
Okay. Good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst. Here she was now she here in Shlaim Kerem. Our second shir this morning of Mr. Berura. The Simon Kuf Mem Kuf Nun Ches. Yes, we are learning Sif Yud Gimel, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Okay. I think that's where we're at, yes.
Fine. Okay, Mayor, if you'd like to go ahead, you can go, please.
Okay. So it says, Yud Gimel. Hamatbil Yadav, Yachol Echol Below Nigub. Okay, so one who puts his hands, or dips his hands, I guess, Yachol, he's able to eat without drying them. V'hu hadin, the notel yadav, vat achat, v'shofech aleihem. Okay, so, and the din is one who dips his hands at once and I guess rubs them with revi'it mayim b'vat achat.
Right. This is to a Hamatbil. Now, we have to there's a difference between matbil and notel. Okay, matbil is when you're going to be putting your hands into like a mikveh or a river or a body of water which will purify the hands.
Oh.
Okay, so a person who's going to put his hands into a body of water which will purify the hands, a person can eat without drying his hands.
Oh.
Who hadin, the same law applies. Hanoit lenoitel yadav bebas achas v'shoifel revis mayim bebas achas. The same law will apply if a person pours water over his hands, the amount of a revis on each hand at one time. Because using the revis of water, pouring a revis of water on your hands is like putting your hands into a mikveh, and therefore
Okay, so
there would be no tumor. Remember, we learned about, we're going to see this again, but we learned briefly about the first waters and the second waters. The first waters take the tumor off your hands, but the waters themselves have tumor attached to them. So therefore, you need a second washing to remove the tumor of the water which is on your hands. But when a person's going to put his hands into a body of water which is like a mikveh that will purify the hands, the water itself is pure. So therefore, there's no necessity for drying your hands. Or, for that matter, if a person's going to wash his hands using a revis of water, which is considered to be like a mikveh, there's no tumah on that water which is on your hands from the first wash. So therefore, there's no reason to dry it off. We'll see. The Mishna is going to go into details about this.
Okay.
Let's see further.
Let's see. So we got to review by the chat. Oshanataya do achat shafach aleha revi'it v'chein shafach al haverta. Okay, so Or he pours, I guess, over one hand, shafach, and rubs it, and the no
Or
shafach,
another case is noto yadoi achas. Let's say he washed his hand once, one hand he washed,
right?
v'shafach al revis, and he put a revis on that hand. The ain't shafach al kavert. And likewise, he did the same for his other hand.
For the other hand,
Kavert, literally, it's its friend. It's referring to the other hand.
right? Okay, so over two hands. Okay, so in the second case, he just pours over one hand and then over the second hand after that.
Right.
Okay.
See Mem Vav in the Mr. Brewer.
Okay. We'll go to Mem Vav. Good. Okay, Bologna Guv. Okay, so without the drawing. Ita Bito Sefta. Okay.
Likewise, it's cited in a Tosefta.
Bito Sefta, okay. The Katav Habet Yosef, the Hatam Hu. It's written in Beit Yosef. The reason is Mishum the Matbil Ein Kan Mayim Tmeim Klal Vilachain Ein Sarich Nagu. Okay, so because one that I guess immerses his hands.
Right.
Where there isn't Ein Kan Mayim, where there isn't water.
No, there's Ein Mayim Tameim Cloud. There's no
Oh,
water, which is tummy. Because immersing your hands removes all tumor from the hands, and the water remains pure.
Okay. Vilachain ain't sarik negub, and therefore he doesn't have to dry him. Vilamad bizet dehu hadin b'shofech revi'it b'vat achat al shtei yadav. Okay, so and he learned from this that the din is he pours a revit once over the two of the hands. Okay. Oh, I'll call yad v'yad bifnei atzmo. Or what? Over each hand.
Right. Right. And we learned from this within the Shofich Revis B'Basakas. I'll stay your doves. And the same thing we can learn from this, if a person is going to pour a revis of water at one time on both hands, or al kol yad v'yad ne'atzmo, or if he pours a revis on each one hand by itself.
Oh, by itself. Oh, okay. De kamalan nami de hamayim tahorim.
Because we've established that these waters are tahor, meaning we know that when you wash with a revis of water, that revis of water has a halakhic status of being like a mikveh, which is tahor.
Oh, okay. So I was going to ask, why is a revitz so important? Okay. Ein tzarich nagub, and you don't need to dry them. Okay, v'rashal cholek al zeh.
but we see Rashal argues on this.
Oh, Chalik is argue. Okay. The Svira la, Svira le, Dikar Haniguv she tiknu hu mishum me'os v'kanal.
So the Rashal argues on this, and he says that the necessity, the primary necessity for the nigub is because of mois, as we mentioned before, that you shouldn't get the bread when you're going to wash your hands, irregardless of whether the water is tamei or Torah. But if you're getting water on the bread, it's going to make the bread soggy, and it's going to make it displeasing to eat.
Mm.
So according to the Marshal, you need to dry your hands in any event.
Ah, okay. The im Cain, Mali Revit Bavat Achat Olo.
Right. If that's the case, what does it matter if there's a revis of water there or not? Meaning, according to them, so you have two basic reasons, as we saw earlier yesterday, is the fact that why you need to do the drying of the hands. One, drying of the hands is because any water that might be remaining on your hands may be tamei, and therefore you have to dry the water off from your hands, so there's no tumah left on your hands once the water is dry and gone away. Or, according to the Marshal's reason, that if you're going to eat with wet hands, that moisture that you're going to put onto the food you're eating, primarily bread, is going to make the bread soggy and displeasing to eat. So it doesn't matter if it's water which is tamei or tahor, the water in any event is going to make the bread soggy and displeasing to eat.
Uh-huh. Okay. So the let's see. Barak b'matbil ein tzrichim naguv. So only in the immersion, it's not required to dry.
That that rak b'matbil ein tzrichen naguv, that the fact is that when you're going to be immersing your hands, you don't have to do the drying. Why?
Okay. The tevilat hayadayim uke'ein tahara the oraita shel tevilat haguf. Oh.
And only when you're going to be immersing your hands, you don't have to do the drying of the hands. The tevilas hayadayim hu ke'ein tahara, the raisa shel tevilas haguf, that dipping your hands into the body of water is like a tefillah of the whole goof. V'sham vada ein tzorach niguv, and there you don't have to have a drying of the body.
Oh, okay. V'dayin. Okay. Tzirik naguv. Okay. V'lachein gam b'tevilat yadayim lo tiknu bo niguv.
Therefore, by hands, when you're going to immerse your hands, they didn't write anything about having to do niguv as well.
Okay. V'kidvarav katav gam habach v'siman kufsamek hey v'chein hiskimu she'ar achronim. Oh, so they all agree.
So therefore, we're left with a question as to whether or not, if you're going to be immersing your hands, do you need to dry your hands?
Okay.
So therefore, the Mishna says, so Mishna now says, af the matbil.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
במפיה ואין צריך ניגוב מן הדין, כתב המגן אברהם, למי שדעתו קצה עליו, ויש בו משום מאוס וצריך ניגוב. Oh,
Right. So even though, according to the strict letter of the law, you do not need to dry your hands, nevertheless, the shum nigov, right, you should or dry your hands. So basically, in all cases, it's going to be the result in halacha that you, under most circumstances, need to dry your hand before you actually make the hamotzi.
okay, very good.
Does that therefore mean that
Okay.
you don't have to have a revius?
Excuse me, Lou?
Does that therefore mean you don't have to have a revius?
Right. According to, we'll see that really you don't need to have a revis for washing your hands. However, in general, we do take at least a revis because using less than a revis is going to be problematic from several technical points of view. And therefore, using a revis, if you happen to have that amount of water, which is not that much at all, it makes things a lot easier. We'll be getting into those halachas in detail as time goes on.
I see.
But Lamaisa, we Baruch Hashem, we have a great amount of water at our disposal. We also wash with a kli. So in general, we're usually careful to use at least a revis on each hand. If you use a revis on one hand, each hand you're in safe territory without some of the technical details you have to be careful about, as you'll see further on. Okay, but we'll as I said, we'll get to those halachas as time goes on, Mitzvah Shem. Okay, I think that's about our time.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Everyone have a good day. Hope to see you all tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, be
Very
well.
good. Thank you all.